Hi everyone, my name is Alex Dobson, and today I'm chatting with Jonathan Schloo to learn about his story. He's a serial entrepreneur and inventor, and in the past he's successfully pitched his company Car Generator on the Dragon's Den. Let's go! Hi Jonathan, thank you very much for sitting down with me today. I appreciate you taking the time to do so.
Sure, nice to meet you, Alex.
Please let us know your name, your role, and what you're currently working on.
Sure, my name is Jonathan Schloo and I'm with Car Generator, and Car Generator is a really cool product that basically takes your car and turns it into a generator. Takes your standard family car, whether it's gas, diesel, electric, or hybrid, and it turns it into a simple generator that's only 11 pounds and that'll power your house for days when you need power.
How did you come up with the idea?
So I actually came up with the idea. We love to go camping, and we love to camp, and a lot of the places that we go to camp don't have power. So rather than dragging a big generator, I started with solar panels. We got solar panels on the roof, but it's not enough. So I thought, my car is a generator right there. There's an engine just like there is in a regular generator, and the basic mechanics are the same as a regular generator. So why should I need to drag another big machine around with me? So I came up with a way to pull power out of it, and I tried it and it worked. So we used that for camping for quite a while. And then a big ice storm actually rolled in, and Toronto got hit with an ice storm. We were without power for 3.5 days.
Wow.
And we stayed in our house, and I pulled this gadget out and I used it to power up the essentials of our house.
That's pretty cool.
Not your hot tub, not your walk-in wine cellar, not all that, but the essentials, which are your furnace,
right,
your fridge, your freezer, a couple of lights, a few computers. We stayed like that for 3.5 days using just our car for power.
Wow.
Now our poor neighbors, they actually moved out, and I call them poor because they moved out and their pipes froze, they had damage, there was all kinds of problems, insurance claims. We stayed in our house for 3.5 days. When the power came back on, we'd actually only used about a half a tank of gas. That's it.
Wow. That's impressive. And it powered your essentials for 3.5 days? The
essentials. No damage to the car, no damage to the house. Worked beautifully, nice and clean and quiet. No one complained about generator noise. It was great.
And what kind of formal testing did you need to complete to have a product that has high voltage going through it officially certified for sale?
Sure. So actually I was able to leverage something, so the components we use are off the shelf.
Okay.
So they are already UL and CSA and ETL certified, which are
those the safety regulation?
They are
bodies.
Yeah. So they're the products that we build now. The components inside it are already safety certified that way. So I didn't have to recreate that. That's already being done by the manufacturer, and that's already completed
by the components that you put into your end product.
Of the main power unit that's inside it is already certified. So I don't need to do anything with that.
How long did it take you to get that product behind you, from concept in your mind to the product that we see here today?
I'd say about 4 to 5 years actually.
Okay.
And that was one of the lessons learned. So I came up with the idea and I just moved on it very slowly, thinking methodically, thinking through all the different pieces of it, creating some units, testing them. Part of that was very methodical because I wanted to make sure, like I said, on Dragon's Den as well, I didn't want to sell 10,000 and say, here, look at this thing, it'll do this amazing thing, and sell 10,000 and I missed something.
And fall short.
Right. So now instead we've sold hundreds, and in that process we've refined exactly what works and what doesn't, and so now we can ramp to the thousands or hundreds of thousands of units, and we will definitely. But I wanted to do it very slowly and methodically at the beginning to make sure that we got it exactly right, and it really worked well.
At the beginning, I know you used crowdfunding through Indiegogo to, I guess, offset some of the costs of development. Why did you choose to go down the crowdfunding route? What was your funding goal, and did you meet it?
Sure. So I didn't do it to offset costs. I actually did it intentionally as a market test.
Okay.
So I set the goal fairly modestly at $10,000, and $10,000 is not really a lot.
Yeah.
I set it as at $10,000 to test the market, to see
if there was interest.
See if there was interest, see if people got the concept, see what kind of price point I could price it at.
Yeah.
Because ultimately you know what it costs to produce the thing, but then you need to have profit and you need to have dealer margin in there and those kinds of things. So I wanted to test some of the price points to see what people would buy it at and if this thing had legs, basically. And it was kind of cool because a portion of the people were family and friends that bought it because they thought, this is cool, I want to support you.
Yeah.
But there was lots of other people that just heard about it and said, I love it, and they bought it.
That'll be good for me.
Exactly. And that was really a very simple, non-risky market test. I mean, just get your idea out there, and I'd say if you're thinking of inventing something, you know what? One of the things I'll say, people are so worried that it's got this idea, someone's going to steal this idea, and I honestly would say that an idea is like a carrot seed, or it's like a bag of carrot seeds. There's thousands of them in there, and there's thousands of ideas. Like every day you get ideas, I get ideas, people get ideas.
Yes.
But without actually digging the ground, putting it in there, watering it, doing something about it, putting a lot of effort, the idea is very, very little. It's the development of all of that. So I would say crowdfunding is a great way to check your idea and see if people like it.
Were you able to meet your $10,000 funding goal?
I was. Yep, we made it, no problem.
And then you were able to ship the products.
So then the busy work began. Then I actually said, okay, I've got a real product on my hands here. Then I went to a design company that would professionally take it, do it in the right way, and develop it. Because you think, how do you actually create a product?
That was Mako, right? I think you worked with them on the design.
I did, Mako Invent.
What specifically did they help you with?
So yeah, Mako Invent was amazing. If you've got an idea, I would say, I actually knew him through my previous company that I had run, which was a computer programming and database company. And I knew him through an entrepreneurs group I was in. So when I had this idea about, I need to make a product now, went back and I thought about who do I know, and he came to mind, so I sat down with him. When I was creating this product, I'll tell you honestly, I actually took the parts, and I went and stood in different stores. It's kind of a crazy story, but I actually went in stores way early on. I stood in stores like Home Depot or Mountain Equipment Co-op or whatever, and I looked for ideas of things. What case could I put this in? What could I use to do different pieces of
off-the-shelf parts that you could use to build your product?
Right.
That's pretty cool.
So that's what I did. I ended up, my very first version of this, just to have something to put this in, was actually, believe it or not, a Mountain Equipment Co-op bicycle bag. It was like a rubber, waterproof, weatherproof bag that I made.
Is that red? Was that red?
Yeah, it was kind of orange, red, orange.
I think I saw that on your Indiegogo campaign.
It's so funny because that's where you start, and I didn't know how do you create a case, how do you thermoform, how do you do injection molding, but that's where I started, is how do I do this, what's the function, how does it need to attach, and it was all good parts of the early process. So I would say the earlier you can go to a company like Mako, they'll just they can fast track all that. It took me years to do this, but that could have really been compressed if I got their help a lot earlier, quite honestly.
So it sounds like basically you could have done what you got their help with, but it's just much more efficient generally to go to a company or someone that has that expertise and just help you basically fast track the project.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. It's just like if you have a package to deliver to California, you could drive it either yourself, but if you go to a company that specializes in getting packages to California,
it's a good analogy.
It'll get there a lot quicker.
I like that.
I'll share another little secret with you. So
definitely.
Okay, this is really fun. So I put this idea out on the internet sometime, long before that. So I put it out there, and I ran a couple of very small Facebook campaigns and things like that. Yeah. And I got some very interesting and very raw feedback. So some people said, I love it, this is fantastic, but I got lots of critical feedback, which was amazing. So basically you're out there with this baby you've birthed, and people are saying, that's an ugly baby. And it's really, I remember, it really is disheartening. I remember to this day, seeing those comments, this is a stupid idea, or it'll destroy your car, or this, or all these kinds of different things. But I am actually, in life, sometimes the worst things that happen to you are, in fact, the best things. So I will say, this was one of the best things that happened to me. And I thank those armchair critics. I truly do, because they actually prepared me with all the kinds of tough questions.
Yeah.
And then when I went on Dragon's Den, there was nothing really they could say that would rattle me.
Nothing that could phase you yet.
No,
because you heard the worst.
I got beat up way worse before on the internet.
That's a good tip for everybody else out there.
With time, I had got beat up on the internet with time to then think about it, reflect on it, come up with the right answers, think through the different pieces.
Yeah.
So it was actually a blessing in disguise. So I'd say sometimes the worst experiences you get in life actually can be some of the most helpful things for you.
Thanks for sharing that. Sure. I suppose another takeaway is that you have to share your ideas in order to get that critical feedback.
Yep.
So you can adjust and change your pitch as needed. Otherwise, if you just keep it in your mind the whole time, you'll never really know what others have to say about that, and you can't change accordingly to what the market's looking for.
That's it.
Okay, now let's shift to your background and what you were up to before Car Generator.
Sure.
Where were you born and raised?
Sure. I was born and raised in Toronto. My background, actually, I was going to say, is Swiss and German.
Okay.
And my grandfather in Switzerland was actually an inventor. He was an electrician in the local village, and he was an inventor, and he created a couple of inventions which are still in some of the museums.
What kind of things?
He was a couple of different things, some kind of radio type devices and things like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool. He was a Swiss inventor. And so it's kind of cool. I guess I've sort of, in a way, carried on some of the traditions.
It's inherited.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so I did that. I started a tech company. We did custom programming, custom database programming, which then morphed into be a CRM company. Basically, how that happened is I did custom databases. Companies would come to me and say, we want a database to track time cards from our employees. We want to track the time cards and add them up and produce a report. Simple. So I created that, or I created one for everything from churches to dating agencies to whatever, and this would be ways that they could keep track of their members. And then eventually I realized with CRM that there's off-the-shelf packages. Instead of creating it all from scratch, you can take sort of think of it like a spreadsheet and then just customize it and make it what the customer needs. So that's how we got into the CRM business. And then in that business, I actually worked personally with Molson, FedEx, McCain Foods, Sears, big insurance companies, lots of different manufacturers, distributors, a lot of different companies, tailoring their databases to track their sales reps and track their customers and marketing and all these kinds of different things. So
that's interesting. Did you go to school for some sort of computer programming or something related to just computers or electronics in general? Is that kind of what led you to the path of starting this company?
So that's really actually a fun question. So I started out in my computer programming career in high school. One of my math teachers, my computer science teachers, said, he saw that I was bright and interested in these things. He said, look, I've got this friend in Oakville who runs a company that needs someone to do some small programming jobs. Would you be game to try it? And I actually said sure, and I went out there. I got in the GO train, went out to Oakville on a Saturday, and they sat me down. The company was actually Chasco Mobile. It was interesting. They made car seats for high-end vans and things like this. So, and I did a good job at that. And then my parents and friends said, tell people you know, tell friends, tell people at church, whatever, and it just grew.
Very interesting. Your first company was called Quality Integrity, correct?
That's right, yeah.
Is there a story behind that name?
Yeah, there was two things that as I was thinking about the company that I was creating that I wanted to have as hallmarks. And you know what? I would say it's interesting. You have to shoot for something that you want to do. It's, you're not always going to be, it's like FedEx. If FedEx's motto is on time every time, well, I can guarantee you that FedEx is not on time every time, but you have to have a motto and something to shoot towards, and that's really, there were just two hallmarks that I wanted to. Do we make some mistakes along the way? Yep, we did. But you know what, I would say there was something, you have to have a goal and something to shoot towards, and that's what we did.
So it sounds like that was your goal. It was basically to provide like those two, quality and integrity as aspects in your service.
Yep.
And I think that's actually interesting that you pointed out, but you have to have something to shoot forward.
You do.
Shoot towards.
You do.
That's very interesting.
And critics will say, oh, you didn't do that, or you didn't deliver, or whatever it is. But you know what? You have to have those goals because it's important. I mean, that's what drives your company. So
that makes sense. How long did you do that for?
About 20 years, actually. A little bit longer than 20 years, actually, but yeah.
It's a long time.
It is a long time.
How did you evolve the business or scale up the business during that time?
So my brother was out traveling Europe and doing, exploring the world.
Fun things.
Yeah.
While you were back here working on it.
Yeah, and then good for him, because you know what, that's great. And then he joined me around 91.
Okay.
And then we grew the business together, and that worked really well. Actually, that worked basically. We worked on landing new clients, on doing marketing, creating websites, doing campaigns, doing events, all these kinds of things, and we worked on it together. Great guy, and enjoyed working with him on that. It's great. So I would say when you work with partners, choose your partner, make sure you work well with them, and we had lived together as kids, so we knew what
you knew the ups and downs of each other.
The ups and downs, what buttons not to push, and and that's it. So.
And what made you finally decide to sell out of the company?
Oh, there was just an option. There was an offer with another company that wanted to absorb a good chunk of the business, and so that was a good opportunity. And then after that, that was part of the journey. My wife and I bought an Airstream. It's a travel trailer, a nice big silver travel trailer. It's more expensive than a tent, but it's cheaper than a cottage. So we bought that. We love to travel, and we started traveling. And then that's kind of around the time that I realized, okay, I can create power from my car, and we love to travel, and this is actually a product I can use for camping, for my cottage, for all these different things, and that's kind of how it was all born.
Did you have any intentions of starting another business when you were selling your previous company?
No, not immediately, but I had a bunch of ideas, and it's always a little bit foggy or fuzzy. You don't know exactly what you're going to do next, but things appear. You just keep your eyes open and stay busy, and
chase the opportunities.
Exactly.
And what was the most valuable thing you learned building up quality integrity, and is it applicable to what you're doing here at Car Generator today?
I think the most important thing is that the customer is really king. Customer is right.
Customer's number one.
Yeah, it sounds like an old saying, but what that means though is you have to listen to the customer. You have to listen to what people say, what they suggest, get some ideas, really be tuned in and dialed into that.
Yeah.
Some of the things you're not going to do right away. Some of the things you might not do at all, but you just have to be dialed into that. And with a broad enough spectrum of different customers you're dealing with, you'll get some really important feedback that will shape the product.
And it sounds like that would be very applicable to what you're doing here as well.
Hugely,
okay.
Yeah.
What are some of the most notable failures or mistakes you've had throughout your 20 plus years as an entrepreneur?
Sure. One that comes to mind immediately is, it's interesting, with this product here, it took me a long time. I mean, really, it took 3, 4, 5 years to bring this to where it is today.
Yeah.
And I could have vastly sped that up if I would have taken the idea, gone to like a company like Mako as an example, and they can fast track you through a lot of those things. How do you develop the product? How do you go through the different steps? And I would be way further ahead at that time. I would say I was quite conservative though. There's a trade-off. You can accelerate that, but I think I just took it slowly. So that was a mistake that I made. I could have been here a couple of years ago.
Right.
And so that's something that would be a takeaway. If you want to accelerate it, get it to market quicker, move it down the chute faster, partner with a company that knows how to do that.
Go with someone that's already done it before.
Exactly, and can guide you in how to do it.
And I guess you only learn those experiences by just going through them yourself. And now you know that if you were to have another product tomorrow, then you would probably follow that path.
Absolutely. I know exactly what I would do with it, how I would take it, exactly.
Okay, now let's shift back to present day. Have you seen a significant spike in your sales after your pitch aired on Dragon's Den?
Massive.
Yeah.
Massive. Absolutely massive. In the year since then, it's about a year today, we've 7 times our revenue.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, we've 7 times our revenue of what we'd done in total before that.
For the period prior to that.
Yeah, exactly. So it's crazy. So and now we're just growing and expanding, and it's kind of really cool now because this product in the early days, it was a real fight, but it was a fight that I loved because people were saying like, what? Use your car, it's a generator, what? But now people actually search for me and search for this, and they're like, wow, I found a person who's actually done this.
Yeah.
And they get it and they buy it and they love it. And even more than that, we always ask people, where did you hear about this, right? Marketing 101. And more now people say, I heard about it from a friend.
Okay,
so that's really cool because that's people that have bought it, used it, like it, tell their friends, and now there's this massive sort of groundswell of people who are buying it.
And it's free advertising as well.
It is. So.
And it's trusted, and it's like a trusted thing.
Yeah.
If someone recommends it to you, you're more likely to go get it, right?
Absolutely.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
7-fold increase. That's awesome.
It's really amazing. I sat down and did the numbers just a little while ago, and I was stunned because you're just busy with selling, producing, doing all these different things. But I was just stunned that it was actually 7 times our revenue. So it's really cool.
How hard was it to find the appropriate manufacturers for this product?
So I would say I kind of got lucky because one of the guys that I know just socially, I was just talking about like my challenges of how do I manufacture this. Well, he actually works in a company that does this kind of casing, and that's what he does.
Okay.
It's called thermoforming.
Okay.
So it's basically, you can see on our website on cargenerator.com and videos, you can see how is it made, and it's really cool actually. They take this sheet of plastic, they superheat it, and they suck it down over a mold, and then they cool it, and that's how that's made. So he actually does that, that's his job, and so then he actually helped me sort of in his spare time to create a mold and to make the first couple of runs, and I'm very grateful to him for that.
How many patents do you have on that product?
So that was an interesting question. People, I was debating, should I file for a patent or not?
Yeah.
And I did. We filed for a global PCT patent filing, which basically sets a global patent standard where you can then file that one filing, and then you can go into any other different countries that you want.
For protection in those individual markets.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say, some people lose their minds and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars in a patent before they even know if this new widget is going to be a hit.
Yeah.
So I would say a patent is kind of like a fence around your house. It's not going to necessarily protect someone, with an armed militia from arriving, but it's a fence and it defines ownership. And if we're selling this or we're going to sell the rights to this, it's a defined property.
Okay.
And without that, it's just an idea and a following, right? So I would say it was worth doing.
Okay. What markets did you choose to file the individual patents?
Right now in Canada and the U.S., but we can go into other markets depending what we need to do. So.
Did you self-file, or did you get some help?
No, we've got an amazing lawyer, very, very good lawyer.
It sounds like the filing process ran pretty smoothly then.
It did, yeah.
Has the patent been issued now, or is
it's in process?
It's in process.
Yeah, these things all take time. It's more important to get the filing in there and to get your marker in the sand in there. So I'd say.
Interesting. Okay. Well. For everyone out there that's watching you today and obviously impressed with how you conceptualized an idea from your mind to a product standing beside you, perhaps they have an idea that they're on the fence about pursuing, or they don't know where to start. What's your advice for them?
What I would There's lots of things that come to mind. Some people say, you're not going to regret the things you did. You're going to regret the things you didn't do. There's people there's always, you got to pay the bills and, keep things organized, all these kinds of things. I would say there's a guy that I went and I watched a couple of years ago is Dan Sullivan. It's the strategic coach.
Okay.
And he talks about how you focus your life, how you focus your business, all these things. One of the things I took away from Dan Sullivan and strategic coach was it's this intersection in your life of 3 circles. It's what you like doing,
okay,
what you're good at, and what people will pay you for. And the intersection of those 3 circles really helps you define what it is that you will, because you can just do a job and not like it, and you'll pay the bills, but you'll just live your life always thinking, wow, I should have done this, I could have done that.
One circle will be empty.
Right, one circle will be empty. And so if you can try to steer your life, and it does take time, it doesn't happen overnight, it's not like you wake up tomorrow and boom, you're all of a sudden doing a new thing. Steer your life to the intersection of those circles. But check out that strategic coach. He's got some good material on that, but basically think about what you're good at, what you like doing, and what people will pay you for.
Interesting. And then decide, I guess, if you want to pursue that idea that you've always had, or start on that idea and do something about it.
Start part-time. Come up with the idea. Do a crowdfunding campaign. That's a great way to get started. It costs you nothing. Actually puts money in your pocket. All of a sudden I ran the campaign. I had 10 grand in my pocket. And that's kind of very, even though the point wasn't money, it's actually very affirming to have $10,000 in that case worth of people that said, I like this. I think this is a cool product.
Here's my money. Please
Here's
give
my
me
money. Right?
this product.
Exactly.
That must be a good feeling.
It is a good feeling. It's validating, and it encourages you on your journey for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
And now let's shift to the future one last time.
Sure.
What's next for Car Generator? Will you be releasing new products or updates to existing ones?
Yep. So we've already started releasing new products.
Okay.
Even since going on Dragon's Den, even this year, we've released 2 higher powered models for people that have, if you have a big pickup truck or a large SUV, you can get more power than, than the 1,000 watts that this has. So we've released higher power models. We've released specialized things for the RV market that you can power your trailer with.
So like charger batteries, for example.
Exactly. European markets, I had people come after the show and ask me, can we have the rights to the Philippines or to Mexico or things like that? So we've released models that are 220 volts, different voltages, different market spaces. So I would say that there's a lot of different things on there, and
that's pretty cool. Would you license out this product to a large retailer or manufacturer in exchange for royalties if that was ever presented to you?
Yeah, I will definitely do that. At some point when I find the right company that loves the product and loves the idea and can take it and run with it very well, absolutely, because I've got lots of other ideas and lots of other products on the drawing board which will come to life very quickly after that.
Interesting. Will the Car Generator be coming to stores anytime soon, or are you focusing on an online marketing and sales approach?
We're doing both, so we're doing online and doing very well at that, and we're also eventually going to come into retail, but these kinds of things take a long time to move through the system and get ready and all that, but we're doing both.
Sounds like you're on the path to being into some retail stores then.
We are.
Okay. Is this a company that you are looking to build out long term, or would you be open to an earlier exit if it were presented to you?
Yeah, I'd definitely be open to an earlier exit. I would not exit just like, here you go, goodbye. It would be very much to bring it to market in a 100,000 unit capacity, as an example, to really ramp it to the next level.
Okay.
But then leave it in a safe, in good hands.
With someone that you trust that will have good intentions for it in the future.
And then there's lots of more products that I'm going to create and bring to market.
I look forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and my last question is, where can people go to find out more about Car Generator and get one themselves?
You can actually get one right now. You can order online at cargenerator.com and go there. The most popular unit is this, the 1,000-watt unit. We picked that because it's the right kind of sweet spot that most cars can produce in the range without overpowering. So it depends. I would say that go to cargenerator.com and order your unit today.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today and for sharing your story with me and with everybody else out there.
Thanks, Alex. And I would say to everyone out there, new inventors, entrepreneurs, go get it. Go do it. It's yours.